Jerry Jones said the agreement he believed he made with Parsons would have made him the highest paid guaranteed player other than a quarterback in the NFL. He then unloaded on Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta. You have to hear this to believe it.
When we wanted to send the details to the agents told us to stick it up our ass.
On August 1st, 2025, in Oxnard, California, something strange happened. Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons had a meeting, but after that, things got weird. People started talking. The news spread fast. Now, the Cowboys are in the middle of a big mess. No one knows what's true. It all started just 1 week ago, but it feels like something really big is coming. It all began with a simple meeting in Oxnard between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. What followed turned into one of the biggest stories in football. Two powerful figures, one the face of the franchise, the other its rising star, now stand on opposite sides. The agent in the middle, the silence in the air, and the season opener just days away. Everything is on the line.
Guarantees everything. We were going to send it over to the agent, and the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark on several areas. And so the issue, very frankly, is we've had the negotiation in my mind. And the agent's trying to get his nose in it.
Jerry Jones is no stranger to big stories. He bought the Cowboys in 1989 for $140 million and shaped them into a football dynasty in the early 1990s. 3 Super Bowl titles, a global brand, a team known as America's team. He was both the owner and general manager, a rare role that made him both the CEO and the head coach's boss. Over the decades, he built the Cowboys into the world's most valuable sports franchise, now worth over $10 billion. But his hands-on style also created friction. He fired legendary coach Tom Landry and pushed his former college teammate Jimmy Johnson out. As time passed, his refusal to delegate football operations drew more criticism. Yet, Jones continues to shape every major decision the team makes. Can a single man really run an empire this size without creating cracks in the foundation? In January 2025, talks between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys began in private. Both sides were cautious but hopeful. Parsons, still under his rookie contract, had emerged as one of the best defensive players in the league. He wanted pay and respect. Jones, known for bold moves, seemed ready to act. But then the talk stopped. From early summer to early August, there was silence. Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta, reached out, trying to finalize terms. But Dallas did not engage. Then, on August 1st, Parsons posted a trade request on social media. He explained he had tried to negotiate, but the team had refused to talk. His frustration was loud and public. How does a superstar go from face of the franchise to trade request in just 6 months? That same day, Jerry Jones said something no one expected. When the Cowboys tried to send the paperwork to the agent, Jerry claimed the agent told them to stick it up our ass. Those words blew up headlines. But the agent denied saying it. He laughed it off and said he had never used that phrase. Suddenly, trust was gone, and the story got personal.
When we wanted to send the details to the agents told us to stick it up our ass.
Was Jerry trying to win public sympathy, or had negotiations really turned that bitter? Micah's side responded with strong words. This wasn't just about football anymore. This was about respect. He pushed back against Jerry's tone. "You ain't my daddy" became the headline phrase. It wasn't just a contract dispute. It became a story about power, pride, and culture. During Cowboys training camp, Jerry Jones claimed he offered Micah nearly $200 million in guaranteed money. That amount would make him the highest paid defensive player ever, but Micah still didn't sign. Instead, he stayed out of practice and asked to be traded. If the money was that big, why not take it? Because Micah didn't just want money. He wanted fairness and trust. Would you turn down a record-setting deal if you felt disrespected? After Parsons' trade request, direct talk stopped. Reports say there have been no negotiations since early August. Jerry said the deal was done in his mind. He claimed the only problem was the agent. Parsons disagreed. Without real talks, everything has frozen, and each day that passes makes the tension worse.
And the agent said, don't bother because we've got all that to negotiate. Well, I'd already negotiated. I'd already moved off my mark on several areas. And so the issue, very frankly, is We've had the negotiation in my mind.
Why is one of the biggest franchises in sports going silent during a crisis? At training camp in Oxnard, Parsons did not practice. He was seen on the sidelines eating snacks and stretching on tables. Some said it was back tightness. Others saw it as a quiet protest. Meanwhile, the Cowboys played a preseason game and won 31-13 without him. Jerry joked with Parsons' mother, and the moment went viral. It showed how strange and personal the story had become.
Oh, all right. All hands are very much on deck this morning, as you can see. It is just lunacy. By the way, Joe Fortenbaugh and I are wearing the same jacket. You can tell us apart. I'm the one without the mustache.
That is very clearly a Merlot. This is a Burgundy. I would expect more from you, Greenberg.
Fair enough. Well, you're the sommelier. I'm merely the fashionista. Let's go. No more wasting time.
Was this a lighthearted moment or a sign of deeper disrespect? As things got worse in Dallas, other teams started paying attention. Packers quarterback Jordan Love joked he was recruiting Parsons. Fans laughed, but the message was clear. If Dallas won't treat him right, someone else will. Jones said Parsons won't be traded, but the rumors have only grown. Could a trade actually fix this or tear the Cowboys apart? This situation comes just as a Netflix docuseries aired on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. It told the story of how Jerry built the team into a brand. But now, that proud legacy is clashing with a new generation. Micah Parsons represents what's next, and Jones is holding on to what was. Is this a changing of the guard or the start of another chapter of control? Inside the Cowboys' locker room, teammates are watching. Some have supported Parsons publicly. Others have stayed quiet. But everyone sees the conflict. When a team's best player is missing, it sends shockwaves. And when a front office treats that player like a problem, the whole locker room feels it. How long before this cracks the locker room beyond repair? September 4th is coming fast. That's the Cowboys' season opener. Will Parsons play? Will Jones tag him, bench him, or pay him? Nobody knows. The team could use the franchise tag for 2 more years. But doing that could make things even worse. If Parsons refuses to play, who loses more to him or the team? This story is not just about one contract. It's about how players are treated. It's about who gets to speak and who gets ignored. If Parsons wins, more players may speak up. If Jerry wins, owners may feel even more power. The NFL is watching. The fans are watching. And the next chapter has not been written yet. What kind of message does this send to every young player watching? This is not just a story about the Cowboys. It's about respect, power, and pride. Jerry Jones has run the show for decades. Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the league. Right now, they are on opposite sides. And with every day that passes, the gap between them grows. When Week 1 begins, everyone will be watching. But not just for football. They'll be watching to see if Micah Parsons steps onto the field. They'll be watching to see if pride can be set aside. Because no matter how this ends, it will be remembered. And the next move could change the Cowboys forever.
Not all contract holdouts are the same, and the media tends to always take the player's side in this. I get that with Terry McLaurin of Washington. I'm on his side. I'm not on Micah Parsons. First of all, I was on team trade Micah Parsons a year ago. The Cowboys are a mile from the Philadelphia Eagles roster composition. They need 4 good players. I would have gotten a couple of second-round picks, maybe a first and a fourth, whatever. I like Micah. He's a good player.
This is not just a guy mad about money. Imagine your best friend from school suddenly stopping practice, staring in silence while everyone else plays. That silent moment turned into a big explosion, but it wasn't about a sprain or a mistake. It was about respect, trust, and how far someone will go before they walk away. The Texas sun was blazing, casting long shadows on the Cowboys' practice field. Players were clashing, yelling, running plays full speed. Coaches blew whistles, fans watched from behind the fences, and music thumped from portable speakers. It was the kind of atmosphere you expect in late summer with training camp in full swing. But suddenly, all the noise seemed to fade. And the silence wasn't because the music stopped, it was because Micah Parsons walked onto the field and everything felt off. He wasn't limping or taped up. He had his pads strapped on and helmet swinging from his hand, but his face was cold, his steps were slow, and most important, he wasn't taking any reps. This wasn't just a rest day or some soreness. He hadn't been participating fully for days. Every drill he stood out of made the tension rise higher. His teammates gave him space, coaches didn't push too hard. Everyone knew something was going on, but nobody wanted to say it out loud. You could see it in his eyes. Micah wasn't angry. He was done, tired, fed up, not just with the grind, but with the silence, with waiting, with being expected to carry the defense while his future stayed up in the air. That moment when he walked out and just stood there was louder than any press conference or tweet. It was a protest in cleats, a signal that something behind the scenes had broken. Micah Parsons didn't just want money, he wanted to be seen, to be respected. He wasn't asking for something crazy. In fact, he'd made it clear for months that he was ready to commit long-term. He'd shown up early last season, put in the work, and even hinted that he'd be open to talking about a new deal before things got messy. But Jerry Jones, the Cowboys' longtime owner, played it differently. Jerry said he and Micah had a good conversation, said it was positive. But here's the problem. It wasn't a real negotiation. There was no paper, no email, no official offers sent to Micah's agent, David Mulugheta. And in the NFL, if you're not dealing with the agent, you're not serious. Micah didn't say much publicly, but the signs were everywhere. His social media began to change. He scrubbed Cowboys logos from his bios. He posted cryptic messages and videos. Fans caught on quickly. Something wasn't right. And it wasn't just about money, it was about how the Cowboys were handling him. Because while other stars were getting paid across the league, Micah, one of the most explosive defenders in football, was watching his value go up while his contract stayed frozen. He'd done everything the right way. He didn't blast the team on Twitter. He didn't ghost the camp. He showed up, but he stopped playing. That was his statement, his stand. And it was only a matter of time before someone pushed back. Dak Prescott, cool, calm, the quarterback. He'd been through this before. He signed a big deal himself and knew how it feels to wait. He stayed patient, but words hit the wind one day, a soft growl. As Micah stood silent, Dak bounced back from a play. He murmured just loud enough, "Cash your checks later. Right now win with us." That was it. Parsons heard. He turned. Steel eyes. A quiet roar. What did you just say? The two leaders locked in that moment. Dak doubled down. Everyone's grinding. I don't care about your agent games. We're trying to win a Super Bowl.
What this man deserves. You had an idea about it, and you're playing these games. And why am I so disgusted with Jerry Jones about this? Because of the things that I've heard. Molly, Mike T, Swagoo, you've heard this. Do y'all know he hasn't spoken to Micah Parsons' agent? You're talking about, you're treating like the discussions that you had months ago with Micah Parsons was a negotiation. It wasn't a negotiation. Now, you know this as a former executive in the National Football League. You don't sit up there and have a discussion with a player and think that's a contract negotiation. Was anything memorialized? Was anything firmly and definitively agreed upon by the parties that be? Normally, you're sending the player away because you want to talk to their representation. You're not thinking that a conversation with a player who, by the way, is 25, 26 years of age, that this man is astute and he's an expert at negotiations. That's not Micah Parsons.
Parsons, chest heaving, snapped back. He carried the defense, but money and silence swallowed respect. Coaches came running, put fists out, and pushed both apart. The shove was loud and ugly in silence. Words weren't whispers now. Micah reminded Dak of failures in big games. Dak shot back. Sitting out. Bad attitude? That's quitting. That's quitting on me and the team. Teammates stared. C.D. Lamb shook his head. Zach Martin, a man who knew holdouts, muttered, "This is going to get uglier." Micah leaned close. Voices dropped. "This team hides behind your smile. When it matters, we know who shows up. It ain't you." The words hit like thunder in a clear sky. Coaches leapt in. Micah stomped off. Dak threw angry spirals. Practice ended in a haze. The field was still. Both were leaders. Now they were tearing the team apart. Next morning, cameras, reporters, whispers everywhere. Fans argued. Some said, money isn't that big of a deal. Others said, Micah deserves it. Jerry Jones shrugged. Those boys are competitors. We'll sort it out, he said that same day. But the storm grew. Micah kept taking real estate off social, posted things that felt farewell-y. Trade rumors flew, Rashawn Gary and draft picks. But the Cowboys said that's BS. Dak stayed hopeful. He said he believes Micah will stay. He's seen Jones make deals happen. Troy Aikman, a legend, said the Cowboys can't win without him, but that waiting will make Micah more expensive. The team preps for Week 1 against the Eagles. The coach says Parsons is expected to play. This isn't just practice anymore, it feels like survival. Every day inching closer to the opener. Micah is there, but quiet. LG's practice, rookies try hard, but the air, charged. Dallas won't trade him, they say. They still hold rights through franchise tags. But that sounds like rope instead of respect. Meanwhile, Micah's people keep pushing. Jerry says agent insulted his good offer up our ass. Mulugheta denies it through Ryan Clark, calling it false. Dak tries to be the glue. He says camp friction is normal, but he holds hope that Micah stays just like he sees it as a piece of his own future. What happened in that training camp wasn't just a clash between two teammates, it was the moment years of tension inside the Cowboys locker room boiled over. Micah Parsons stood still because he'd had enough. Dak Prescott spoke up because he couldn't take the silence anymore. And Jerry Jones? He played the same game he's played for decades, waiting, negotiating late, and hoping loyalty would hold everything together. But this time, it might not. This wasn't about stats or salaries. It was about pride, leadership, and what it means to be respected in the NFL. If Parsons walks away, this could be the decision that defines the Cowboys' next 5 years, for better or worse. But if they find a way to rebuild the trust, pay Micah what he's worth, and bring the team back together, they just might still have time to chase the trophy that's been slipping from their hands for nearly 3 decades. Because now, it's not about winning games, it's about saving the soul of the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, he's funny, he's optimistic, lighthearted, but he works hard. You know, he takes it seriously, his craft, and he's watching what the others are doing, and you know, doing it his own way in which only he can. So, you know, looking forward to see him, you know, in these preseason games and you know, how he manages the offense. But you know, I think he looks good.
So Shedeur Sanders, Kevin Stefanski, they've had all sorts of quarterback injuries. He's going to start Friday. And he'll only have one practice with the ones, and he's going to start.
The world has been talking, and they can't seem to stop. With one electrifying moment, Shedeur Sanders has sparked a firestorm of opinions, and you won't believe what people are saying. This isn't just about another rookie making his mark. This is about a young quarterback who might just change the game forever. The question now isn't if he's ready, it's whether the league is ready for him. The final day of training camp before the preseason kicked off was nothing short of spectacular, and all eyes were on one man, Shedeur Sanders. The young quarterback, known for his poise and presence, had already made an impression earlier in the week, but this day, it felt different. It was like everyone was waiting for him to show something truly special, something that would prove all the hype was more than just talk. And sure enough, he did. It all started with a reunion that seemed to have more in common with a friendly chat at the park than a high-stakes football practice. Shedeur, having recently joined the Cleveland Browns, ran into his old college teammate Jimmy Horn Jr., now with the Carolina Panthers. The connection was instant. The two shared a moment of laughter and high fives, and a playful comment about the Wi-Fi connection between them, a nod to their seamless chemistry from their college days. Fans, who were lucky enough to hear the conversation through a mic, got to witness the true friendship and bond between the two, reminding everyone that football isn't just about the game, it's about the relationships built along the way. This wasn't just a let's catch up moment, the energy was palpable, and the respect they showed each other went beyond the field. As the two laughed, tossed the ball around, and joked, it became clear that the bond they had was not just for show, it was genuine, built on years of trust and shared experience. It wasn't long before they got back to work, and that's when things got serious. Shedeur wasn't messing around. He took control of the first-team reps and wasted no time making a statement. With every pass, he showed just how much he had grown as a player, how much he had absorbed from his time in training camp, and how focused he was on taking the starting role seriously. Though there was no official footage allowed, reports from those in attendance confirmed what was obvious to everyone who had been watching. Shedeur Sanders was on fire. His passes were crisp, his decision-making sharp. It was as if he had been in the league for years. He wasn't just looking to make the team, he was out there to dominate. And that's exactly what he did. Word even got out that some members of the opposing Carolina Panthers were overheard expressing how badly they wished Shedeur was on their team. If there was any doubt about whether he could hold his own in the NFL, That moment erased it. Before the practice even began, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski made a bold statement about Shatter's potential. He announced that Shatter would be playing quarterback during the preseason, and he praised the young quarterback for his fast progress. It's only a matter of time before he starts leading the Browns, Stefanski said, signaling the team's belief in Shatter's future. The message was clear. The team wasn't just looking at him as a rookie trying to fit in. They saw him as a future leader, someone with the skill set to elevate the franchise. The confidence wasn't just coming from the coaches. Veteran players like Myles Garrett, who is one of the Browns' most respected figures, also threw their full support behind Shatter.